your official home for everything CORT. You're tuned in to the fastest show in sim racing, the CORT Report, your one-stop shop for news pertaining to the CORT Training Paints Championship Series, the CORT National Series, and anything else happening in the world of CORT.
And now, the guys who will bring it all to you, David Amboys, Chris Sweat, and John Dragonetti.
Hello and welcome to the inaugural edition of the CORT Report. I am your host, David Amboys, and I'm alongside Chris Sweat.
I'm Brian Fantana.
No, you're Chris Sweat.
Oh, okay.
And John Dragonetti.
I'm back, and I am not black.
He is Caucasian, ladies and gentlemen. He is Caucasian. And we are proud to be here to give you a rundown on everything CORT for the week that was, and of course for this week and next week, just the CORT Training Paints Championship Series, as always, our flagship series here at CORT, and the US 250, the second leg of the Triple Crown, all over. And Thomas Morris is your winner.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. There was only a couple cautions, I think. There's 5, but it was only 14 laps, so it wasn't a significant chunk of the race. But there was a breakaway the entire time, a group of 4 to 7 cars at a time in the front and the back groups. But from a competition standpoint, it was phenomenal. 41 lead changes, I think, with 14 different leaders as well. So I think by far, even more so than the Indy 250, it was the most competitive race we've had all season.
The most exciting race in CORT history.
It definitely was. I mean, I had to sit out of this race. I had some problems with the car. We couldn't get it going for the race, but just watching it from up in the control tower, it was an awesome thing to watch. The passing was amazing, and people running 3 and 4 wide. It was pretty awesome stuff for the entire race.
Absolutely, absolutely. Quickly running down the running order, and Thomas Morris won, but I think Timothy Silman in the 26 car, he struggled earlier on in the season, only finished 1 race coming into Michigan, and that was on the road course at Road America, but nonetheless, finished second, and he was gaining on Thomas Morris. If he had 5 more laps, maybe we might be talking about Tim Silliman being the winner of the US 250.
It was very close. Tim was going. He was coming. He had a head of steam, and I think definitely a couple of laps he would have been right there. And it would have been exciting to watch if there was just maybe 2 or 3 more laps, and they would have been side by side coming out of 4.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I mean, I was obviously in third, well back, but I was hearing from my team communications just how hard he was going for that win, how hard he was trying to contend and get to Morris, but a little too short. But hey, it was still his best finish of the season. You can't complain about that.
Oh, absolutely not. He tried, so hard all race. I know he had probably one of the fastest cars. But yeah, watching him, it was almost kind of sad that he was catching up to him. But if he only had 1 more lap, he probably could have pulled it off. But it's still a phenomenal run nonetheless.
Yeah, nonetheless.
One of the things that struck me was if he was able to clear Robert Hill when he ran out of gas, he probably would have ran him down. That couple of seconds being held up definitely played a huge factor into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Running down again. I don't know how I ended up on pole, let alone finish third. That was insane. Ran our time and was thinking, okay, well, we ran our time. Looking forward to starting 8th or 10th like I normally do, and I see a number 8 on top of the scoring pylon in the infield, and I'm going, no, that's not me. That's a misprint. That's not happening. But yeah, I ended up on pole, and had a pretty crazy day, and it was still a good run for the Oracle team. Our best finish so far this season, something to hang a hat on, and looking forward to going to Watkins Glen next week. Tyler Tucker had some wheel damage, I understand, from the incident that we had coming out of pit lane late in the going, but he still ended up finishing 4th. Robert Hill, who could have possibly won this thing if fuel mileage wasn't such a big deal, finished 5th.
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely what he was going through with his fuel situation, but from what I was hearing, he was pretty sure he was going to be good, but he had like 2 different people, I think, owner and his strategist, giving him different numbers on fuel. But I didn't think it'd work out, but that's just really unfortunate for him and his team. I know he wanted it really bad coming back from his first race since his little hiatus, let's put it that way. And I know it would have meant a lot, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, you definitely have to make sure your entire team is on the same page. You can't have anybody doubting or questioning anybody. It's just not going to work, especially in the fuel mileage race.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was Robert's first race since our second race of the season when we went over to Japan for the Budweiser 200 back on October 15th. So good to see Robert back, and hopefully this is a sign of things to come. Maybe the strategy falls his way next week. Who knows? Joseph Cervone in the 703 Racing number 78 finished 6th. Cody McCorkle, who was running the entire time and was still in it even despite the big wreck on lap 65, finished 7th.
It was a good run for him. It was great to see him get up there. I mean, we had a lot of big names taken out in the accidents, especially the big one there on, I think it was one of the last restarts. But it was just good to see some of these other guys get up there and start battling for positions. I mean, McCorkle, we haven't seen up front, especially Robert, we haven't seen up front, I mean, at all, because, well, he didn't run a whole lot. But it was just great to see some other names up there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was, like I said before, it was interesting, especially for the fact that some of the wrecks did clear out some of the names that have been up front recently, like Buffoli and Hayes and Madore. And it kind of led to, seeing more of Silman and David and myself and Hill and McCorkle. But, I think at a track like that, it's almost like a restrictor plate track in a tin top. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't really take skill as much as luck. But even if that's the case, it's still really nice to have some different drivers up front.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Mike Husby came home in 8th, and hey, so-so day for that group. They ended up moving up to 3rd in points.
Definitely was. He had a really good run going. The car was very strong, but I don't know if he got caught up in. I didn't quite see what happened to him. If he got caught up in that second to last accident or what, but he got damaged somehow, and he just kind of fell off. And I think he ended up losing control of the car, and spinning out into the infield in turn 1, but didn't bring out a caution. But he had a great run going. He was up front for the whole time up until he had the accident. So I mean, it's a tough way to end it, but he's been strong all year, and it was another good showing for him.
Yeah, he actually he was involved in the incident with Alex Boffley, who we will talk about later on, where Boffley kind of clipped him down going to turn number 1. Those the front wheel met the rear wheel, and that's usually when bad things happen in these cars. Pete Engamanis finished 9th. Disappointing run for him. He was absolutely a threat until being involved in an incident in the middle part of the race. John Dragonetti, 10th place, but that doesn't show how strong you were last night.
Yeah, I got I can't even really describe it. That exit off pit road is really tricky, even if you're in second gear. And that's what happened to us. We tried to take it easy. I mean, it blew my mind coming off the pit exit. So I'm just assuming it was cold tires. But even, taking it easy, the car just came around, and as soon as we got it, straightened back up, as soon as we just tried to put the power back on just to ease up, because the caution came out at that point, it still just turned straight into the wall. So I'm not sure if maybe we'd done something to the tires whenever we got it spun back around to cause a puncture, or maybe the steering was so off because of the tires being super cool and then super heated really quickly. It just threw off the handling for when I tried to power up or what, but it just nosedived right in the wall, and it really doesn't show at all how we raced and how freaking fast our car was. But it happens. It's racing, but we'll take it for what it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Moving on to 11th place, Kyle Young, who was substituting for Braden Oakley in the last race of his suspension. Scott Ickes, coming over from the OCRL, finished 12th. And you're starting to get into the guys who came in to run the Triple Crown. You're starting to see some guys who have come in and just tried to run just the Triple Crown and kind of chase the trophies a little bit. Will Roberts, tough night for him. He finished 13th. Christopher Munger finished 14th. Scott Olson. And quickly on Scott Olson, I feel bad for him because he was beating himself up after the incident on lap 65 last night.
Yeah, definitely from my standpoint, it's just, you can't blame him. He was trying really hard to get his laps back, and I know with the rules package we have, it's very hard to get back on the lead lap. And it's just, might have been too aggressive, pushed it a little bit too hard, spun the tires, and ended up causing the biggest accident of the night.
And directly in front of the leaders, which was kind of bad placement, bad timing, wrong place, wrong time, however you want to put it. But it just absolutely was really crappy for the guy. Moving on to the man who came in second in points, Alex Boffley, and dropped the ball tonight when he could have gained a lot of points on the points leader, Eric Mickey.
Yeah, I don't really understand how he even wrecked it. I don't know if he got involved, like with a wreck in front of him, or he caused the wreck or led to causing the wreck. I don't know how to word it. That's going to come out weird, but whatever. It still shocked me because I think at the time, David, you and myself were in that backpack, and all of a sudden we hear some random expletives and him talking about his wheel, and he just sounded really irate. And then as we drove by, I remember seeing his car, thinking, "Oh God, he's gonna be pissed." But I don't know what happened, but I know for sure that's gonna really destroy his title hopes. Maybe not off the bat, but I know with Mickey's lead, it's gonna be really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, he dropped from second to fourth in the points now. He's completely out of the top three.
Yeah, the Boffley deal, it looked like he was being too aggressive, which has been, I guess, the tag you can put on him throughout this entire season. He's a very talented driver. He's probably one of the better drivers we have in this series, but he's almost too aggressive at times and just needs to learn how to fall in and ride and log laps. And he'll learn this eventually, but right now he's tearing up race cars, and it doesn't look good. It's costing his team money, and obviously the sponsors are not very happy about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, Royal Crown is probably searching for the Crown Royal, if you know what I'm talking about. He's torn up quite a few cars this season in unnecessary incidents, but you know what? It comes with time. Eventually, he'll realize, okay, I shouldn't challenge now. I should wait. Let's just log laps. Let's get to the finish. Julian Medor, I feel really bad for as well. Bad night for him, and it was something completely out of his doing.
If you want a driver that can just never catch a break, actually a team that can never catch a break, you have to look at Vodafone Pioneer Racing. from the drop of the green flag this year, it's just been horrible luck for the entire team. Hayes, the former champion, is just the most recent champion. Has just had absolutely horrible luck. I don't think he's gone on a race without incident, and just Julian, problems with the car, problems with his Mercedes motors. It sucks to see because they're such strong drivers and it's such a strong team, and they're definitely better than that.
Absolutely, and you look at such a mark like Mercedes-Benz, such a history in American open wheel racing, and to see them struggling with their only team in the field is kind of sad to see, but I'm sure next season those two will rebound and get right back on it.
Yeah, we definitely hope so. I know you and me, David, were supposed to be essentially manufacturers' teammates with them, but it's just the Mercedes engines are very strong. They're definitely capable of being up front, and it's just it'll come around. The luck will definitely come around, but it's just when is that time going to happen?
Yep. 18th and 19th on the field, Brian Bliss and Andrew Hayes, and Andrew once again even changed the number to 11 instead of the number 1. But it seems like you said about Julian, just a season to forget for Pioneer Vodafone.
I definitely got to think there's a little bit of a curse with the number 1 in its entirety because, I mean, I'm not saying anything. I'm number 18. I've had my fair share of bad luck this season. Hayes is still finding bad luck, and John, you had bad luck, and you're number 14. So maybe there's just the number 1 curse in general, you know?
Let's hope not. Otherwise, the Panthers are going to have another high draft pick. Ugh.
Moving along to the points, as we said, Eric Mickey was not there, but he's comfortably in the lead, even with missing last night's race. He still has a 46-point lead over his teammate, Thomas Morris.
Yeah, that team's been on fire. I don't know what they've got in their cars, like some kind of fuel mixture that's different or what? I don't know. We'll say that for a rainy day. I'm just kidding. But yeah, they're doing something. They got something right. That's just amazing. As somebody dies in my house.
Oh my goodness.
And it's okay. The medics are not involved.
Okay, goodness.
Well, anyways, yeah, they're on fire, and if they don't win this championship, I'm gonna honestly be surprised because they are on fire.
Don't know what's happening here in the studio back in behind us, but that was interesting. Yeah, it's that team can essentially, well, Mickey himself can just, you have to sum up, you have to almost drop the word domination because he's always up front, he's always battling for the lead, and it's just they're so good, and they figured it out that whole team is clicking as a unit, and it's just waiting to see who can play catch up and step up to the level that Mickey's performing at.
Well, Morris even joked after the race last night while we were waiting to do post-race interviews in the media center, and I was talking with Morris, and he said, "Man, this number 98, it must be something with the number because it is lucky." And even Morris brought up success in other leagues, and he was like, "Man, even there, we're good, and he's lucky." So maybe just Eric Mickey just finds a way. I mean, look at Milwaukee, for example. Even despite him not finishing in the points, he still hung on the points lead because he built up such a big lead after races like Motegi where Boffley wrecked out early, and looking at Phoenix where drivers struggled to even just finish the race.
I'm not really sure. No, go ahead.
Nah, you go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe it's their strategist, kind of like how Harvick said a couple years ago with Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson's crew chief. So it's probably him, and why not just trade him off between all the top 12 guys every year in the chase and just see what happens.
Moving on, just going to recap the top 10 real quick. Eric Mickey, Thomas Morris, Mike Husby, your current top 3 in points. Husby is only 4 back of Morris, though, which is going to be pretty interesting for second place. going down there. And then only 3 points back of Husby is Alex Boffley. So we could have a good fight on our hands for second in the CORT Trading Paint Series. Scott Olson is fifth. Andrew Hayes still finds himself in sixth after some strong finishes earlier on in the season. I'm seventh. John, you're eighth. Tim Silliman, with his great run last night, moves up to ninth. And Tyler Tucker is 10th. And as we said, we came back to the ovals for one brief week, and next week, and for the remainder of 2012 of the 2012-2013 CORT Trading Paints Championship Series, we head back to the road courses, and we head to the Finger Lakes region of western New York and beautiful Watkins Glen International.
I'm excited about it. I love Watkins Glen. I mean, I'm horrible at road courses in general, but it's fun to run Watkins Glen. It's fast, it's technical, and it just provides some of the best racing that we're going to see on a road course this year. I think it's going to be up in the air who wins. There's a lot of good talent that run the roadies, and it just kind of, with the way Watkins Glen is with the speed and everything, it just kind of pulls more people together. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait to get out there.
Yeah, me either, especially with it being pretty much my home track, being born in New York. But I think it's going to be really cool to see maybe if it doesn't shake up a little bit differently than some of the other road courses, especially with it being more technical and having more up and downhill sections other than the front stretch at Road America. But it kind of requires more skill, so I think it'll be cool to see what happens, especially during the first practice.
The thing that was very exciting about the fact that we're going to Watkins Glen, and the thing that really gets me excited, is it's a track that, quite frankly, some people actually know how to run. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us are oval based. We'll be the first to admit it. And Watkins Glen is one of those tracks where you know it because NASCAR went there. So a lot of people know it, but what's going to throw people off, I think, is the fact that we're running the boot configuration.
Yeah, the boot's definitely probably the most technical part of the track. You're coming off of
Carousel.
You're coming off the carousel, and you just want to keep turning and then straightening out, but then you got to kind of set your car up to take a hard left-hander in there, and it can definitely throw people off and put some people in the tire barrier.
And that left-hander, it sneaks up on you, and you think you're done turning, but then you got to keep turning it some more. It's one of those long sweeping corners, and then you come slightly uphill to an uphill right-hander hairpin, pretty much a 180-degree corner uphill, second gear, and then you get through there, and then you're down another short straightaway into the right-hander, a 90-degree, and then you come back up slightly, and then it's almost practically a first-gear corner heading back into the NASCAR portion of the road course and into Turn 10.
It's extremely technical, and I agree. It's going to be fun. I just don't want to give away any of my little secrets, because that's pretty much like the only track I'm like for sure good at, no matter what the car type. But I don't know if we're going to touch on this later, but I think the hot spot, especially with these cars, is going to be going into the bus stop. Whether people can get woed up in time or not, especially going off. Whether or not people will go a little bit wide, a little more wide than they should, and clip the tire barrier.
Absolutely. Right now, we're going to go ahead and bring in our guest for this week, driver of the number 1. And before I bring him in here, Andrew Hayes, number 11, actually, my bad. Andrew he runs both. He's had a up and down season, so this should be a very interesting interview to kind of see what he's up to and how he's recuperating from his rough exit out of the US 250. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Hayes. Andrew, welcome to the CORT Report, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show as you get your microphone and everything all set up there as we get you all good to go. Andrew, how you doing?
Hi.
Andrew, let's make no bones about it. It's been a rough beginning of the season for you.
Oh man, it's horrible. I ended up changing numbers and everything, and that's still not working out for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking earlier about the number one curse, and it's just even just doubling it, it's still giving you problems. I guess other than that, I mean, you've had some good runs up until you have problems. I mean, I guess how has the season been for you so far, minus the incidents?
Season's going good for when I'm running good, but other than that, it's just been nothing but a headache, really. I feel like Nigel Mann's back in '94.
John, you got any questions for Andrew Hayes, defending court champion?
Yeah. Kind of not looking at it from the technical aspect. Oh, wow, I can't talk. Aspect. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Aspect. But more or less, the sports psychology kind of standpoint. What does it do mentally to you, especially not only your crew, but you? With the wrecks and some of the bad luck. Like, how does that affect you?
It's very discouraging. I feel like when we go in there, we feel like we can win. Then I either get put in a wall or I spin out, go off the track, anything. It makes me really frustrated, and just hopefully now this second half season, we started off pretty badly, as everybody talked about earlier. But the rest of the season now, hopefully I can make my sponsors happy, and we can finally get the victory lane at some point during the season.
Well, we head to a road course, and we head to the road course in Watkins Glen International. Hayes, what are your chances there? What do you think the Pioneer team can do there?
Well, it's a really familiar track for me. Like everyone else, a lot of people looking for that track, where it's a pretty popular track. But with the boot now, it's gonna throw off some people. But I ran there before in different leagues on iRacing with the IndyCar, and it's a pretty fun track, and it's going to be a very entertaining race.
Out of all the tracks on the that we have left to run here, is there anyone that stands out? Like anything that you've marked down on your calendar that you say, I really want to do well here, and I have a feeling I'm going to pick up the win here?
Brands Hatch for sure. That's going to be a really cool event. What's it called? The London Court Trophy. It's going to be a very prestigious race, and I hope I can win that one. It's like an oval, but it's not, and it makes people think they can be more competitive, but yet they're probably going to probably be sent to the gravel traps or something. Anything can happen in that race. It's going to be a really cool event.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to, Andrew?
To the fan, all the drivers in court, every single one of you guys in doing this court report for the first time, and hi to everyone back home.
All right, that was driver of the number 1/11 Pioneer Dallara. That is Andrew Hayes. Andrew, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Andrew Hayes, and things are looking up for that team. They seem to be improving week by week. Unfortunately, this week at Michigan wasn't indicative of that, but that team definitely getting better.
They are, and they're just like you said. They're hoping they can turn things around and get things to click, and I honestly see that happening. Like I said earlier, two very strong drivers, a very strong team. We will see better finishes from them this year.
There's no real way to go but up after the season that they've had so far. So definitely going to climb out of that hole. I could see it. It's just a matter of time. Moving along and to focus and kind of shift gears over to the Tin Top division of the championship online racing team. Let's talk about the CORT National Series real quick. The CORT National Series announced their schedule this week, and it's a 20 race schedule over 22 weeks with dates at tracks that we don't go to in the Trading Paint Series.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be a big switch from what we've been running here with the open wheel cars. Obviously, they're not going to handle as well. And that's going to kind of be, for some of the drivers, it's going to be a big switch for them. But I'm looking forward to it. I've always been a big fan of the Tin Tops, too. and it's just fun to get back in the cars you can kind of beat and bang on a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to get started, honestly. I think it'll be a better change than what we've been used to lately. I'm just a little, because I like road courses, I'm a little disappointed that we're not going to have one yet. But hopefully next season, it'll be better. Because I'd love to get on Watkins Glen in one of these things. I know I'm looking forward to getting there next week in the IndyCar. But I have honestly never been in a competitive race in that B-class car, so I think it'll be fun next season. But I cannot wait at all to get started. It's going to be insanely fun.
Absolutely. Real quick, the first 3 races on the schedule, we head to the historic 2.5-mile Daytona International Speedway for the first race, the Daytona 250. Then we head up the state a little bit, or actually downstate, because Miami is below Orlando, and we head to the Homestead Miami Speedway, where we had our season opener for the Trading Paint Series. That will be the second race of the season for the National Series, the FedEx 300. And then we head west to Texas for our only appearance there, and that will be the Grime Boss 300.
I like that sponsor.
Of course you do.
It's catchy.
But moving along and kind of checking out some of the other dates, then we head to the heartland of Iowa for our first of 2 dates there. And then we head to North Carolina and Charlotte, which has been kind of the topic of debate and will be our poll question for this week. There has been talk about making the Charlotte event a true 300-mile race, 200 laps, and running it at night. It is currently scheduled to be a day race and run at 150 laps and 250 some odd miles. My personal opinion is, why not? Why don't we have an endurance race just like the 600 at Charlotte?
No, that is way too long. I'm just kidding. It'd be interesting. It would be an interesting race to say. I guess I don't know what else to say. I'm looking forward to it if we do go with it. Let's definitely see who's got the stamina to be able to keep it up for that long. It'll be one of the longest races we've run in either series. So I'm all for it, and I could definitely throw a little bit of a curveball in to the schedule, and it could be fun.
It would be cool for sure, but I don't know about anybody else, but I get distracted easy. So
Me too.
either I'm gonna just stop paying attention and probably nosedive myself into the wall, or I'm gonna have to pee. Probably the second one, but if the first one doesn't kick in, I mean, I'm just saying, I can't hold my bladder when it comes to stuff like this.
I'm laughing at our intern Jeff in the background, just going, "Ew."
John, just go in your suit.
Yeah, just go in the suit, man.
Well, it's like that ESPN SportsCenter commercial with Harvick. He just standing by the window, just taking a leak in his fire suit, looking at the rain. I'm not like that. Actually, you know what? I mean, this will be like Tony Stewart and just poop my pants.
All right, show of hands here.
All right.
Show of hands here.
I'm just saying.
Who's gone to the bathroom in their fire suit?
I wouldn't do it.
Dave,
More
why
of
is
the
your hand
story,
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Ew.
Jeff is putting his hand up. That's a bit weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyways, moving on to our schedule, the remainder of the CORT Trading Paint schedule. We go to Michigan on January 16th for the Sunoco 250. Then we hit our first off week of the season, January 23rd. Then we head to the fast 1.54 mile in Atlanta. And then we head to the even faster 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. And that will be the first time that CORT heads to Alabama. And looking forward to seeing the fans down there.
I love Talladega. Not just so much for the race, but the environment. It's an experience. If you've never been, you definitely need to get down there and go. Just walking around the infield and stuff, and just the best way to put it is just thousands upon thousands of screaming drunk rednecks. It can't get any better than that.
Oh, but it can. Indianapolis. That they know how to party.
Well, we're a little bit biased here at CORT, but yeah.
I don't
Indy.
remember much of Indianapolis. That's
That's
probably
why.
why I didn't finish too well.
Moving on, then we head up north to the Windy City for the Target 300, benefiting the Target House at the Chicagoland Speedway. And we head up north a bit more to the Milwaukee Mile for the AT&T 250 on February 20th. Indianapolis, February 27th, the Kroger 200, happening live from Indianapolis. And then we head to a short track again, I believe the second short track on the schedule so far, Richmond for the Autolite Challenge 250. Then it's our second off week of the season on March 13th. New Hampshire makes an appearance on the schedule March 20th for the TD Bank 200.
My home track.
Your home track. March 27th, we head to the high banks of Bristol for the O'Reilly Auto Parts 300. April 3rd, we head to the historic Rockingham Speedway, Rockingham, North Carolina, not Rockingham, UK, for the Pop Secret Microwavable Popcorn 200. Then we head to Kentucky for the Kentucky 300. And then we head back to Charlotte again for the Bojangles 300, which is the second of 2 dates at Charlotte, and then the second of 2 dates at Iowa, the only 2 tracks that are on the schedule twice. The U.S. Cellular 250 Under the Lights at Iowa, April 24th. And then we head to the final 2 races are going to be very interesting. It could shake up the points dramatically. The Darlington Raceway, the historic Lady in Black, will make its CORT debut on May 1st, May Day. The Mountain Dew Southern 300, and then the Finale 300, live from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The Finale 300, presented by Cox Communications, May 8th, 2013. Long schedule, 5 months. Let's get going.
I'm excited. It's definitely, I love the mixture of tracks we have in there. It's pretty much, I can't say it's entirely different tracks. We are missing the road courses, but it's a good mix-up of fast and slow tracks and challenging and not so challenging tracks. So I think it's going to be a great season. I love the engine packages we have this year. It keeps level playing field, so you're racing the driver, not the car. And I think you're going to see some pretty darn good racing.
Absolutely, and I've heard some rumblings from CORT officials, even higher up than me, that perhaps sometime, if there is a way to kind of work in a road course, there is possibility of just that. Just throwing that out there. There has been discussion of possibly throwing in a road course. Who knows where and when, but there is possibility. John.
I'd be all for that.
So anyways, guys, that just about wraps up the first CORT report, and it's been a good one.
I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. They went pretty well.
Yeah, aside from some of the technical mic issues, I think we're going to have a lot of fun. If it goes anything how the old deal used to, I think not only will it be good, it could be a lot better.
Hey, no.
All right, so Chris Sweat, your final thoughts tonight.
We need to keep our interns calm. They seem to be getting a little bit out of control, and maybe duct tape their mouths or something, or give them some Ritalin or something to keep them calm. But no, it's been fun. Definitely enjoyed. Looking forward to doing this week in and week out. I had a blast.
John Dragonetti.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I think we should, there's another one, God. Not only should we...
They're everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a disease. Like, we shouldn't only duct tape them, we should put them back in their cages where we usually house Patrick. But, yeah. I don't know how well that'll work, but we'll see.
It took until the end, put a Patrick reference in there.
Yeah, see? I told you I'd get one in.
John Dragonetti, your final thoughts, as you were saying.
Lock up the interns, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband, because CORT's all up in here. It's going to be fun. So, it's going to be interesting at Watkins Glen. Definitely look forward to that. And stay tuned for that. Oh, and the website. New website, gonna be developed, gonna look awesome. PBI. Stay up for that.
Yeah. Keep your eye out for that, and should be exciting for the new website for CORTRacing.com. The new CORTRacing.com. I've already seen some mock-ups, and it looks really, really good. Really good. My final thoughts are, hey, get your entries in for the 7th Daytona 250. That entry thread is up. Get your entries in for the Grand Prix of the Americas from the Watkins Glen International. Get those entries in, please. And stay tuned to CORTRacing.com to find the newest news and views from the world of the championship online racing teams. And for Chris Sweat and John Dragonetti, and the CORT World Series Twitter. How could I forget? That was right on cue. At CORT World Series. A fine way to keep up with everything here at the world of CORT. So now, with all of that said and done, I'm David Amboys. That has been Chris Sweat, John Dragonetti. Appreciate Andrew Hayes joining us on the show. And this has been your CORT Report for December 4th, 2012.